Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. I am your host, Dr. Kandace Kichler. Today, I have my recurring guest / honorary co-host, Daria Gaugler, back on the show. We are infamous for our Let's Talk About Everything episodes.
All over the place.
All over the place with Daria. And we're just going to revisit some of the topics that we've wanted to talk about that we haven't quite gotten into the nitty-gritty of. And we're just going to give it to you guys.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Okay, so, and today we're going to elaborate a little bit more. We'll be less bouncy.
Okay, because usually we're all over the place, but I think it's kind of cool that we cover a lot of bases. But let's get a little in depth and actually explain ourselves.
Let's deep dive. Okay, but just to give everyone a preface or preface or whatever that word is, we're going to go over things to do under your chin. So like Kybella or submental liposuction.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about buccal fat removal. We'll talk about labiaplasty, sunscreen, and then kind of we'll get into like eating and alcohol.
Okay, like lifestyle.
Okay. Lifestyle branding.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So what have you heard about Kybella?
So I've actually had Kybella.
Stop.
I didn't do it under my chin. I know that's like where I think it was originally supposed to be.
That's the indication.
Yes, but I actually got it in like my bra fat area.
Did you love it or hate it?
Well, I'm actually still in the process of getting it done because I know that it can take a couple sessions for some.
Yes.
I actually really love the results that I have so far, and it's not even finished.
So have you had one round?
No, I think I've had 3.
Okay.
3. And so in each side of my bra fat is a little different where I was bigger on one side than the other.
Uh-huh.
So the one side that I was smaller on, actually, I'm perfectly happy with, and it's completely gone.
Amazing.
So I just have a little more on my right side to do.
Amazing.
So I actually really enjoy it. It's not a fun process. Like you're really swollen. You get the injections, you're puffy and bruised, but I don't know, I find it to be worth it. And it has really like hit the target areas where maybe diet and exercise still doesn't really help me. And I'm kind of like immune to losing fat in those areas.
And someone like you, another option for that area would be liposuction, but that's more invasive and something that maybe you wouldn't want to go down that road because it is a procedure. It could be done at your local as well. But Kybella is, for the listeners, it's just an injection of a medication that basically goes in and breaks apart your fat cells. So it causes them to disrupt, and then your body kind of clears those cells out so that you end up with a smoother contour. The indication for Kybella, like on label, is for the submental region, so under your chin, like the double chin. But the under the chin submental region is a little complicated. There's more than one layer of fat. So Kybella doesn't always do the trick for everyone.
Okay.
It depends on how your fat is distributed and also genetics. And if you really need a chin implant and like a lot of other things go into that specific area. But for places like you've used it, bra fat area, some people I know have used it around their belly button.
Ooh,
like that little
that's
pudge.
fancy.
Yeah, like that little pudge that we get sometimes. It can be used for that too. But you do have to know that it's like not quite as good as like liposuction because that's surgically going in and taking them away.
That. Sure. That's a more permanent,
and it's one
easier
and done.
solution. One
exactly.
and done, correct.
This is like it's less predictable, but it can work great. So awesome.
Yeah, I really like my results, but let me ask you. So the right side of my bra fat where I still have some and, I'm struggling a little bit, is there kind of a point where it just won't help me anymore? Like, will it dissolve the fat that I want it to? Or is there a point where I will have to turn to liposuction?
You might have to turn to like surgical excision. It really depends on what is there because in this specific area on the body, it could be breast tissue. Like it could be tail of the breast tissue that kind of goes up into the axilla because that's like how our breast tissue forms from the breast buds and all these things. They like travel down. So if it's really resistant after, I would say 3 to 4 rounds would be the max I would attempt.
Okay, gotcha.
Then you might want to think about doing the next step if it's really that bothersome to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I actually need to have that done.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be exchanging my implants at some point. And when I do that, I'm just going to have liposuction of that area. So,
Sweet.
yeah, but that's
so
the
people
less
who
invasive
aren't
option.
maybe really familiar with Kybella, maybe like what is the price point or what, depending on
everybody's
like their body
different.
type, like how many sessions will they need or?
Yeah. So it's all depends on how large the area is. So for example, the submental under the chin area, double chin area for like someone with a normal body weight, who's not obese or overweight, you're probably only going to need 1 to 2 vials, 1 to 2 rounds. Okay. And each vial, depending on where you go and, how they're pricing things, I would guesstimate around like $1,000, maybe $1,500.
right.
Could be a little less, could be a little more. Maybe you're getting a special. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's not cheap by any means.
Right. I just wanted to give people the proper expectations.
Right. It's not $5
right.
and it's not 5,000. Somewhere in between, depending on where you are. So, 1 to 2 rounds. But if you're talking larger areas, if you're talking off label, then they might charge you more. You might need more. You might need more rounds.
But is that a procedure for a larger area? I would think that they would kind of just
you wouldn't really
skirt it over to liposuction at that point.
But you're under your chin versus like around your belly button or your bra fat. It is a little different in surface area, but
Gotcha.
Still definitely small areas.
Yeah, I really love it. But the swelling is insane, I gotta say. My bra fat was out to here when I got it first done. It's wild. I had to wear long sleeve shirts like in the dead of summer. But
that is the downside. I mean, the same thing kind of happens with liposuction. You do have that swelling, but what I find and what I tell most of my patients for the liposuction under the chin, especially, your swollen looks kind of like your baseline. So you just don't see your results right away.
Gotcha.
Like your swollen isn't so dramatic that people are like, oh my God, what did you do? Which Kybella can sometimes look like that.
Yes.
But I also have people in compression garments. Like I have them basically a faja for your face. A chin strap essentially that helps with that swelling. So most people doing Kybella don't do that. And that could be part of the difference. But also it's a totally different reaction. Like the Kybella medication is a little more like toxic feeling. It's more like it breaks up the cells.
Yes.
So it's a chemical reaction that's happening under the surface. Whereas lipo, we're just going in and sucking it out.
Sure.
So it's a different inflammatory response.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so happy I did it. I'm always down to try something. And that was something that really bothered me pretty much my whole life. So.
Right. And submental, this under the chin area, submental liposuction is life-changing.
Does submental just mean under the chin?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Your mentum is your chin, and so sub is underneath, and it's just this area like between the crease of your chin. Like when you fall and you're a kid and you always get that
the little scar under the chin?
Yeah, that's where I put my liposuction cannula. So I use the scar that you probably already have. And then I also usually place one behind each earlobe, so you never see it because your earrings are going to cover it, and it's also just hidden in that crease. And then it's done under local most of the time. It takes like 20, 30 minutes of the actual procedure, but you're in the office for a good hour and a half just for recovery and to make sure you're comfortable. And it's just game changer, like life changing. People love it. It changes your profile. Similar to if you have a really good result with Kybella.
Dr. Kandace, everyone. That was a really good Kybella explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's great. And the chin and the jawline, they go hand in hand, and they also complement the lips. So you don't want to have like big, massive lips, but then have a recessed chin or like fat under your chin. Because then you just don't look balanced. So that's why going to someone who's going to talk to you about your angles and the contours of your face really makes a big difference, because you could walk around with 5 syringes in your lips, but have never touched anything else. If you've got good bone structure, great, you can probably hold it. But a lot of us with time, our bone along our jawline starts to kind of disintegrate as women. So we need to enhance that. Yeah, I know. It gets smaller and smaller. It gets smaller and smaller.
It's always something.
And the fat in our face falls. So instead of having this beautiful heart-shaped face, we end up with square, like soggy faces.
And that's when we need a little chin lift or a neck lift.
A little lift here and there.
Oh, man. Being a woman is hard.
I know. So that's one area, that we can do a lot of good with removing the fat. But we also have on our topic list the buccal fat removal.
Ooh, that is a hot trend right now. I think I've noticed it trending downward, luckily. I think that was a flash in the pan and everyone realized that it looks great when you're 20.
Yeah.
But you need that buccal fat in your cheeks when you're older because that makes you look more youthful.
100%.
And like you said, you lose volume in your face.
Right. And it shifts and changes. So like you don't want to be, having malpositioned fat and then having this obvious dent where you've taken out the buccal fat. Now, the caveat or the like exception to this is obviously people who are very heavy in this area naturally. And I've done this procedure and it has a beautiful result. It can slim the face, but it's not going to give you this defined, sharp thing unless you're over resecting and or doing other procedures in combination with the buccal fat removal.
Okay, so someone who has like a, quote unquote baby face where they have like a chubbier cheek, even as adults, they just want to angle that in a little bit. They'll go and get the buccal fat removed.
That can be helpful.
Okay.
Botoxing your masseters. There's a lot of different things you can do to the lower face to give you a little bit better contour and shape, augmenting the cheeks. But buccal fat alone, it's not going to be that dramatic unless someone's going in and, doing something crazy.
Do you go in through their cheeks, like in their mouth? So there's okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then what is a recovery time for something like that? Can you eat?
You can eat, but during the first 24, 48 hours, you want to avoid chewing very large things.
No gobstoppers.
They would actually be fine because you just suck on it and you let it dissolve. So you are allowed to have gobstoppers.
Example.
No apples. You don't want to be biting into something heavy. Steak would probably be a no-go.
Gotcha.
You want to do maybe soups, something that's really soft.
Gotcha.
And just for the couple of days because you do have a little, I put a little stitch on the inside of the mouth. It's between your teeth. So if you open up your mouth, you have the parotid gland, it empties into the mouth so that you have saliva and you kind of work right around that duct. And then, we place a stitch there. So you want that stitch to just dissolve and not be disrupted.
Gotcha. And so the buccal fat procedure, you get it done, you're 20 years old, you look great. And then you realize maybe in your 40s, early 50s that, hey, I'm starting to look a little caved in and sunken in. At that point, there's nothing you can do, right? I mean, you can't put the buccal fat back in.
I mean, you could do fat transfer.
You can't, and would it achieve maybe a similar result to what it would have been naturally?
No, of course not.
Interesting. Okay, I don't think that people realize the repercussions when you're young.
Yeah, I mean,
what happens
definitely
when you're older, these kind of things.
Yeah, don't go to someone who's doing it just because it is a trend and it's they know they can make money off of you. Make sure you're adequately assessed and that it's a good procedure for you. Someone who's doing tons and tons of these, they're probably not screening everyone appropriately because there's not that many people walking around needing buccal fat removal.
Sure. Would you turn some away if you?
For sure.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
No, I never do anything unless it's appropriate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the downsides would be really bad. They walk around looking crazy.
I just don't know where your responsibility, I guess, as a surgeon starts and begins with someone who just wants something because they think it looks good versus.
Yeah, I mean,
you obviously know better.
It's not. I mean, in aesthetic medicine and
Mm-hmm.
cosmetics, it's still the Hippocratic Oath. I still did
do no wrong and do no
harm. But you do weigh in the pros and cons, and it's more of a conversation that you have with a patient. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to do something that's unsafe for sure. I'm not going to do something that's going to look ridiculous for sure. And you also have to make sure that the patient's not just a little off the rocker and asking for something totally wild.
That makes
So,
sense. That's good.
it's a balance.
Yeah. Well, no buccal fat for me, unfortunately.
No, you don't need it. You have a great contour.
Thank you.
And you have cute little dimples. That's what people are going for.
Dimple?
Yeah, kind of. When you smile, you have a little crease there. See?
Oh yeah, I think
Zoom
I have a
in on
dimple
her.
one side.
Yeah, no. Okay. So I'm loving this little surgical trend
Me
we're
too.
going on.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Do we want to go into labiaplasty?
I do.
Okay.
I think it's something the ladies want to hear and the men.
Yeah. I kind of touched on this with the ladies in my last episode because one had the internal female rejuvenation, like a laser that goes in and kind of tightens things up.
Oh, I've heard about vaginal rejuvenation.
Yes,
okay. That's all what the housewives are doing these days.
She had the Mona Lisa, but there are other brands, the Thermi, there's just a lot.
I've never heard of the Mona Lisa. What a beautiful piece of work.
I know, right? So labiaplasty is what I do, and that's external. So it's think about the area under your bikini that you only see under your bikini. any part of it we can address. So the outer lips, the inner lips, if they're too long, if they're too short, if they're too skinny, if they're too fat, like that can be addressed however you want it to, really, within reason, of course, and within taking into account your anatomy.
Oh, that sounds like the recovery would be unfortunate, or it would be a little uncomfortable.
So it's really hit or miss. Like some people have zero pain and are like, wow, I'm so glad I did that. I would do it a million times over if I needed to. And I've had like one or two people be like, that was extremely uncomfortable. You know, it's everybody's different.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everyone's pain tolerance is
Everybody's
different.
pain tolerant.
I just think in that area it would be a little sensitive. And
totally.
tough.
But it's, you know, it's the external part. Like that you rubs your jeans every single day that you're like sitting on a spin bike on, you know? So it's like, it's taken some wear and tear. It's not, it's not totally protected. And of course the people who have had children, it's like nothing for them.
Oh, and I'm sure it's a game changer. And that's such a great surgery that I'm sure helps so many women with their confidence. And I think that's really important.
Yes.
Even though some people might find that to be, you know, what do they call it? Like a cosmetic, you know, elective surgery. But at the same time, I feel like something like that is really important to feel comfortable in your skin, in your, you know, your sexuality.
100%.
Yeah. So that's really amazing that you like help women like that.
It is
so spectacular.
It's very rewarding because many of the cases that I've done have been due to like a congenital or like born with asymmetry. So like one side's longer than the other, like one like just looks totally different than the other. And they just want to look normal and they just want to feel normal, or they're having, you know, issues with their clothing and they feel like you can see it.
Yeah. Now, leggings and everything. You can't have that hanging out. No
exactly. Exactly. And these people, like, it's a real concern. They think about it every single day. You know, it's very distressing. So to make that better, with a minimally invasive, you know, done under local procedure with not a lot of downtime, well worth it.
Amazing. Could that be covered by insurance if you kind of, you know, if you went to the doctor, was like, hey, this is causing me real problems in terms of like clothing, or, you know, I can see that being like a real problem.
I mean, you would think so, but insurance companies don't quite think the way that we do.
Gotcha.
But I don't know, you know, I don't know the 100% answer to that, because there might be like an OB, like a gynecologist or somebody who does this and gets it covered, but I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
I'm not aware of that.
Gotcha.
Most of the time it's a plastic surgeon.
Elective, you know, insurance companies are run by men, so makes sense.
Well, and they are all for profit, you know, so I don't know. They find their ways.
Oh, that's really cool. It's such an amazing surgery. And I'm sure that like really helps women. I bet that they're like, they leave your office just like a new woman.
Yeah.
I think that's really
They're
beautiful.
so happy. And they tell all their friends.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like a new mom.
Because like you never talk about that, but then when you have that done, you like want to tell the world.
Yeah. Oh, as a new mom, would that be something that you might need? Like, does your vagina change in that way after having children, where you would need something like that? Or is that more just maybe in terms of age and how you're born?
I think it's more so either you're born or it's something that happens over time with hormones. Obviously, there's hormonal changes that happen with pregnancy, and there's that acute trauma if you have a vaginal delivery. But I think for the most part, and out of most of the patients that I've seen, it was either a problem before or it's like a problem that they've had for years and years and years. And it wasn't related to just that one event.
Okay.
However, there's certain cases where it could be. Okay. You know, there's always those exceptions.
Yeah, as a childless person, I was unsure about that.
Well,
so
it's
I thought
not,
I'd ask.
yeah, to make it clear, it's not like you have a baby and you need a labiaplasty. Like that's rare. Most of the time things go back to normal. They look back to normal and then you just live your life. But if you had an issue before, it may be more pronounced now. Okay. Or it may be better, you know, temporarily. And then as you get older, things may just be not where you want them to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You've seen every vagina in Palm Beach County, huh?
A lot of them. Not all of them by any means. Yeah. There's only like, I believe only like 2 or 3 of us in the area that do it. Oh, sweet. And obviously the women do more of them because people trust us and know that we kind of know how it feels to go through something like that.
Oh, good point. I never thought about a male surgeon versus a woman surgeon, I guess.
Well, can you imagine like telling a guy how you want your vagina to look?
I know how they would want it to look, like a porn star. There's nothing there. Right. Just a little slit.
Exactly.
Sorry,
and
is that
not
too
reality.
far?
No, not at all. That's reality.
Yeah.
You know, so
sad but true.
Yeah, we don't have labiaplasty inspo pics, but we do have before and afters.
Would that be flagged on Instagram if you were to post something like that?
There's no way I'd be able to post that. I can't even post breasts anymore.
I know.
I can't even post tummies anymore.
Tummies, they'll flag you on a tummy?
My tummy tucks that I've been posting, they get flagged.
For what? Inappropriate content?
For nudity. Nudity.
Okay.
It's like not even that nude.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't.
It's just like
I
a
should.
human
I should
body.
hashtag it body positivity, and then it probably won't get
it'll
flagged.
stay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
Next
sure.
time.
Speaking of body positivity, let's talk about like our lifestyle.
Okay.
And how we stay thin or in what we feel is good shape, and how like we have changed our perceptions on like what we're eating, what we're doing, what we're drinking, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I'm sure you can relate. I think our focus was more on being skinny and not necessarily healthy or strong or fit.
Yeah.
So I kind of relied on being skinny fat my whole life. I would, eat okay and, work out here and there. But as I turned about 29, I realized how important it is to actually be strong and build muscle.
Right.
So that's where my, diet and physical activity has changed, where, I have a balanced diet and I work out with weights, which I was always really scared to do before. Cause I was, I'm sure every woman thought this, that you were going to get muscle and get bulky, and that's just not the case. Lifting weights really helps with longevity and, strength. And as you get older, that's really important. So I lift weights and I play tennis, as you know.
Right.
So that's really good for cardio, and, it kind of keeps the weight down when I need it. And then in terms of diet, I just eat healthy and I eat balanced. And I'm not a drinker either. So I don't drink anymore. And I think the liquid calories in that really keeps the pounds on. And I noticed
the inflammation and everything related to alcohol.
I noticed when I stopped drinking, my like inflammation and my like puffiness and bloat just totally went away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're the same way. Like you eat healthy. Sometimes you'll splurge here and there. Like you have your occasional cocktail, you'll have your occasional dessert. And I think that's, important too, that you have to enjoy your life and enjoy what you eat. So if there's a diet plan that doesn't work for you, do something else. And if there's a workout, program that you don't like, do something else. But whatever you can sustain for the rest of your life, I think that's important.
Yeah. Consistency is key. Doing something regularly and not yo-yoing.
No,
because yo-yoing is really bad for you. Exactly.
You'll gain everything back that you lose, and then some.
I know. Like a girl in my office, her husband's on this diet, and she's like, he's doing so great. He's lost like 20 pounds. And I'm like, what is he doing? And she, it's some packaged thing that he bought where he's eating food out of like
a lean cuisine,
like worse, like powdered stuff, like powdered stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad he's losing weight because he obviously needed to. But I'm like, is he starving? And she's like, oh yeah, he's like starving. Like he's so grumpy. I'm like, he's not going to sustain this. It's not going to last. As soon as he stops this quote unquote diet, then it's all going to come back on.
Yeah,
you have to do
it. Diet culture like taught us was like these low calorie, remember like the low fat, low sugar, low everything. That's just, you're going to starve yourself. And then once you start eating again, your body's just going to gain it all back. And what was that all for? Like instead you have to change your entire lifestyle and just eat healthy and maintain that. And
And I think also changing like your attitude around food, like that it's not, it's not like a reward where you need to reward yourself every time you do something great and food is your treat, but also like it's not a punishment to eat if you want to, whatever you want to eat. Like you should think of it more neutral. Like food is just something that I have, and try not to get too much or too little pleasure out of it.
Was food as a treat or as like a prize at the end of the day? Is that something that we were taught as kids? Remember like when you go, like if you eat your dinner, you can have your treat or you can have your dessert. And
or you can't get up until you finish that.
Right. And that's something that I'm going to be very conscious of. And I wonder like how much of that plays into like my relationship with food today.
It definitely plays into it. And it plays into everyone's relationship with that and with obesity. Like my brother, for example, who at one time suffered from significant obesity, he was rewarded left and right with like sweets. And looking back, it's like, okay, that was horrible. Like that's not how we should have treated
as a child or
as a child.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Like growing up, because I was old enough to remember, it was in my like I was like adolescent, early teen whenever he was born. So I remember like Christmas tree cakes. Like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the little Debbie cakes.
Yes,
like,
they have sprinkles in their vanilla with like cream on the inside.
Yeah. And they're obviously delicious, but it's like, okay, a little 2 and 3-year-old doesn't need one of those a day or more, if he's being good or if we need him to be quiet or whatever it may be. And I'm not bashing my family or anybody, like
they did the best that they could.
You live in your life.
Yeah,
exactly. When you've got 4 kids and you're just like living life, you kind of do things that you just get by with. But that reward with food is just like a habit you don't want to set up if you can.
Yeah. And luckily now we have the tools and we kind of saw that and we understand a little bit better now so we can raise our children a little differently. And it's weird how, even in our lifetime, how much that's changed. It's kind of crazy to think about. Remember when we would wake up, what would we have for breakfast? We would have a sugary cereal.
Oh my God, I know. Charlie has never had cereal.
It's wild.
To this day.
Yeah, see, and that's amazing that your kid is going to grow up. I can't even imagine how much better, or a leg up they'll have when they have maybe an egg for breakfast. How about that?
Yeah.
Instead of a sugary cereal. It's so crazy. I would never in a million years feed my kid Reese's Pop cereal.
Well, listen, people still do. There's a whole cereal aisle that still exists today.
And with all the information that we have, how are people still doing this? I don't understand. I don't know if you saw this viral video that went around. It pissed me off so bad. This guy went to Dunkin' Donuts and he got their pumpkin spice, frosty iced coffee, whatever drink.
Yeah, probably 1 million calories.
188 grams of sugar in one drink.
That's your recommendation for the year.
Right. I think that is so criminal. And I don't understand what we're doing. Why is our country just pumping us so full of this shit?
For profit.
Yeah. And people will drink that for breakfast
It's
thinking nothing of it. And then they'll
Yeah.
have a donut for breakfast and they'll have a soda at lunch and it just all adds up. And that's something that I'm really aware of. And I think that is part of the success of maybe why my diet works or whatever is because those things add up and I think a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
If I have one soda a day, which I never do, but I would account that to the rest of my, daily
For sure.
intake.
Right. A balance.
Yeah. And it all kind of
Like a
creeps up.
checkbook.
Yeah. You got to look at labels, even our salad dressing, sugar,
and oils and chemicals.
Yeah. It's just so gross. And once you see it, you kind of can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. And plus with all the, the podcasts that we have and social media, which it can teach us so much. If you don't utilize that information, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. And I am getting off my soapbox now.
No, I completely agree. To go back to, even what we're talking about with reward and food, that's also where alcohol plays such a big part in our culture because we reward ourselves with a drink.
It's a baby shower. We're drinking. You graduated, drinking. It's Christmas, drink. It's Friday, drink. It's Sunday scaries, drink. It's every occasion. You can't escape.
Right. I know. I'm at the point where it doesn't make me feel good.
So why are you doing it? Right.
1 or 2 occasionally is fine, but it's I don't need to have a drink to relax. It actually is going to make me feel worse after.
Yeah, because you wake up in the morning and then you're not relaxed because you feel like shit. So which one's more important?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
and the calories and the inflammation, there's so much that goes into that, but it's, in our culture. So trying to work around that, it's an uphill battle right now.
It is. I think it's changing a little bit too. Have you noticed maybe more of your friends doing Sober
for sure.
October, which I am doing now? And it's amazing. And it's funny who knows where we'll be maybe in 50 years. Remember back in the day when smoking was considered healthy?
Yes.
People would smoke in airplanes and now that's gone. So who knows maybe in 50 years, where we'll be in terms of our society and alcohol. But
okay. Side note. I saw 3 people smoking today. Just walking from my office to
that's
the
unusual.
So weird.
A cigarette, not a vape.
And I'm not going to lie. It smelled good.
I know when you smell it, it is really tasty. I'm not going to sit, high and mighty. I have maybe 3 cigarettes a year. I got it. I have to have some vice. Okay. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
It does smell delicious sometimes, but don't do it because you'll die.
No, I know. Yeah. But I was what is this?
That's unusual. You don't really see cigarette smokers bopping around anymore. If anything, people are just ripping their older bars.
Right.
Okay.
They were elder, not old. They were probably 60s or whatever. So they grew up when cigarettes were cool.
Yeah, they're what's a Juul? You kids and your Game Boys and your Juuls and
the Juuls are so dangerous.
I know. Yeah, they're bad. But I don't know. From the research that I've done, Juuls are of course bad because you're doing them, in your car, you're doing them in your office. You can do them pretty much anywhere because it doesn't smell.
Yeah.
So you're probably ingesting more nicotine than you would if you were a cigarette smoker. But a cigarette, they're worse for you. There's all the tar, the carcinogens.
I don't think you can really compare.
Yeah. But some people lately have been saying that they say that vapes are worse than cigarettes. And I just don't believe that to be true.
We should, what? My friend did research on this. We should ask him about this.
Yeah. I'm sure it's good and bad in different ways. You'll probably smoke less if you're smoking a cigarette, but
right.
But
I think there was something about what you were inhaling with a vape was slightly different. But they're obviously both bad.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's which is worse?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I'm sure there's certain vapes you can buy at a shitty gas station that aren't, great and they have like shitty chemicals in them. But
Yeah.
I would say like the average one, like the Elf bars and the ones that people are like mainstreamly smoking, I'm sure are relatively safe.
Right. Exactly.
How do you go on the topic of cigarettes? I don't
Alcohol
okay,
and
gotcha.
cigarettes and how they smell good.
Okay, yes.
No, I know. But also then you think about people who have lived to like 105 and they still smoke. And
Oh
you're
yeah, they have like 10 packs a day
What?
and whiskey. And those people are just lucky. Did you see that
They're
Suzanne
cockroaches.
Summers died yesterday?
Nick said that out loud and I was like, I don't know who that is.
Okay, so she was Chrissy from Three's Company. Did you watch Three's Company growing up?
No.
Okay, did you ever hear of the Thigh Master?
Yes.
She created the Thigh Master.
Love her then.
I know her whole life she was so dedicated to health and fitness, and then she still got cancer and died. And it's like, you know what? Maybe that person smoking, drinking
what I'm
to living
saying.
110 has got it right. I don't know.
It's all about balance, you know?
I know. I can't believe you don't know who that is. I'm surprised.
I'm sure I do. I have a horrible
If you saw her,
memory.
you would recognize her.
For sure.
R.I.P. to the Queen.
Yeah.
Loved her.
But that reminds me of like Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers.
Joanne Rivers.
She was a real queen.
She was savage and she was a queen. And can you imagine if she was around today? She would have been canceled long ago.
For sure.
But I loved her. I love fashion
But
police.
maybe canceling wouldn't have been so prominent.
Yeah,
had
because she
been
wouldn't have
around.
let it. She was like,
Exactly.
no, you can't cancel me. I'm Joan.
Yeah. I know.
And then she would have insulted our outfits and called it a day.
I know, for sure. And everything about us. Okay, I do want to go back quickly.
alcohol?
Not to alcohol
Okay.
necessarily, because I feel like we've like said our piece about that.
Yeah.
Like it's just dumb. Do less.
Yeah.
But the ingredients, like looking at
Yes.
your labels, I think that can make a huge difference in like
Absolutely.
how you feel, what you're eating, what your weight is, and just in general in your health, your health status. Like
Sure.
if you read a label and you don't know what that ingredient is, like, do you need to have that?
Yeah, all the long names like maltodextrin and glycerin.
Yes.
And, yeah, this
Right.
horrible. Yeah, if you can't pronounce it or if it doesn't grow in nature, like stay away.
Right. It's kind of like where paleo is a really good idea because it's like, okay, were ancestors able to eat this or whatever? Isn't that the basis of paleo?
Yeah.
So kind of the same thing. Like if you're reading a label and it's like a chemical, do less of that. You know,
Agreed.
You just don't really need it. Your body doesn't know how to digest that. It's going to because our bodies are resilient and you're going to make it and you're going to live. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on the shelf. But there's going to be long-term impacts of that.
You're going to live, but how
And that's-
well?
Right. And that's where we don't know like how much these chemicals are impacting our cancer development rates, you know, things like that.
That's got to be a reason. If cancer, because I would think, or at least I thought maybe a couple of years ago, I thought cancer rates would decline pretty steadily. Because remember like my mom told me back in the day, she would play with mercury in class because they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And, and there were so many things that they weren't aware of. So I thought that cancer would decline, but since it isn't, like it's got to be something we're eating. It's got to be
I think it's totally what we're eating. Yeah. And environmental.
And it's just,
I mean, they're spraying pesticides left and right.
Yeah, and like why
It's in
are
all
they
of our
doing this
food.
to us? I don't understand. Other countries have it so much better. Like I went to France around Christmas time, and I ate all the bread and cheese and butter that I wanted. I came back, I lost weight, I felt great.
Yeah.
And it's just such a juxtaposition. And so when I came back here, I was really pissed off and angry. I was like, what is happening? Why is our country doing this to us? Like, or did you hear how Skittles is getting, I think, banned in California for red dye 40 or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, thank God that we're finally on, the right path. But then everyone's bitching about it because they want to eat their Skittles and like taking away their freedoms. But
Oh God, I know. It's so frustrating. And then there's people who just like don't believe, and they're like, "No, that's not true. Like
How
that
can you
red
not
40 is totally
believe it?
normal and fine for you, and you should eat it." It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, actually, there's studies that show that it's not, but okay, great, let's
so
move along.
scary. I heard that red 40, I think, and then the yellow one, the yellow dye is really bad for hormones and I think endocrine health as well as fertility.
Well, but like, why do we need dyes? Like just to have pretty food, which
Yeah.
makes it more likely to want to eat it, which makes it
there you
addicting,
go.
which is like feeding this whole cycle. Imagine trying to raise kids in this like environment. It's exhausting.
I'm sure it's exhausting, but it's also probably very empowering that you know what to
Yeah,
feed
I
your
mean-
kids and you're knowledgeable.
Well,
and
I'm like
you're
a
educated and-
label crazy person. Like I read everything that I'm putting into
and
their
that's
body.
okay. I think that's okay.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have friends who've seen me feed my kids Chick-fil-A. That's
Right.
okay too.
Everyone deserves the occasional Chick-fil-A, but at least that's not your everyday diet, and at least you're understanding that what is in this Chick-fil-A isn't necessarily healthy,
Right.
But it's delicious, and that's okay.
yeah, every once in a while it's fine.
Yeah, it's good to be conscious, but I think to not be crazy and to have a healthy relationship with food and, the nutrition, I think is wise.
Totally.
Yeah.
When did you start lifting weights?
When I moved to Jonathan's Landing, I had access to a personal trainer, Kazia. And
Do you still work out with her?
I do. Yeah. I love working out with her. She's like totally changed my life. So it's been about 3 years.
It's really great having someone guide you. Like if you can have that luxury to have someone like walk you through a workout, it's so nice because then you don't have to think about it. You're motivated a little bit more because you feel like you have to perform.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, there's so many things that I would not do unless she was standing right there and like kind of shaming me into doing it, or you know what I mean? Because when you're at that limit of, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to go any further, that's where the magic happens. And that's where you actually start to build muscle. And then that's what she's there for, to push me when I maybe would stop if I was on my own.
Right.
So yeah, lifting weights has been really great. I feel like I've noticed the biggest change in my body from lifting weights, even though my whole life I did yoga, I did literally everything in the book, and weights is that's when I really notice a difference.
Yeah. It's the best for you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I'm doing it not only for me, but for when I'm a grandparent and my grandchildren, like I want to be able to be mobile and be there for them. So like, I'm not just thinking about myself now and in the now, I'm thinking about the future. And I think that's something that a lot of people overlook as well.
Yeah.
That it's not, just about you now. And also I want to be there for my family when I'm older. And
yeah. Especially like you're going to be a lot older for your kids or your grandkids than say your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they were all having kids at like 19.
Yeah. 19, 20, 25, and my first, I didn't have until I was 32.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, you're giving me hope. Okay. That's probably when I'll be.
32.
Okay,
and then I had Camden at 36.
Amazing.
Yeah. I was geriatric.
So messed up.
It's so messed up. I don't care though. It's whatever. I liked going to the extra appointments because then you get to see the baby more and like know what's happening. Yeah.
But on the topic of weights, I'm assuming you do the same. Do you lift weights?
Yeah.
Did that help you with your baby weight shedding?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, this past year, like after Camden, it's been less because we aren't going to the same gym that we used to.
And you're a busy girl, so.
I'm very busy. We have a tonal, which I love for strength and resistance training. It's not like free weights, but it's like a resistance, like it's kind of like a Smith machine. I'm trying to explain it.
I don't understand. It goes on the wall, and then there's like little like cords and stuff you pull, and it's electric weight, that's
essentially.
Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's really awesome.
Tracks your progress, and then it ups the weights like as you go.
Yes.
And stuff. That's cool. It's like a personal trainer, like robot in your house.
Yeah, but we just moved, so like now the tonal is like sitting on the floor, until we move into our next house.
I forgot.
We're closing.
Amazing.
In a week.
Congrats.
I'm doing the walkthrough on Wednesday, and then we're closing next week, and then we'll be moving in, and we'll get the tonal reinstalled.
Amazing.
But I've been doing right now. I've been doing just like very light weights, but I really want to pick it back up because I do feel my best when I'm doing that resistance training.
Yeah.
And it honestly changes your body so much faster than anything else.
And it burns more calories, and it
helps with bone density.
Sure. And I heard it helps with the skin elasticity as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it just impacts like your overall hormone balance much more so than just doing cardio.
Yeah. And you feel confident, you look good, you feel great. And it's like an endorphin release. And maybe if you're frustrated or had a bad day, there's no better way to feel good and to feel better about yourself than to do that.
100%. Yeah. So, I think there's a lot that goes into shedding the baby weight. And I think it's different every pregnancy. I think it's different for every person.
And every body for sure. Every
body type, but definitely key components are your diet, your sleep, which, that is not really all up to you anymore. It's dependent upon the baby. And then obviously how much you exercise and like how active you are. If you're like sedentary, you maybe don't go back to work and you stay at home, but you're not able to do activities for some reason, or you had some complication of the delivery, it could delay everything. It depends on how much weight you gained during the pregnancy. Did our mic fall?
It's okay. I'm going to fix it. Keep going. Don't mind me.
Yeah, there are so many factors that go into it, and you really have to look at each one. Like you can't eat right for a week and be upset that the scale didn't change.
I know.
And it's you got to be in it for the long haul.
It is frustrating. You do want those immediate results.
Yeah, you want to like be like, "Oh, I snap back in 2 weeks." Like, if you go into the pregnancy very healthy, you stay active the whole pregnancy, you don't overgain weight, then you will see that initial rebound, but you're going to have hormone changes, you're going to have swelling, inflammation, don't mind our mic.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm the
totally
worst. Okay.
All of those things play into it.
Absolutely. Well,
It's a journey. It's a journey. I'm not as good as I want to be, but I feel like that's my like life.
But also that's okay. I mean,
You
you
know?
don't always have to be perfect in where exactly you want to be. And you're also where you want to be in other aspects of your life. And
True.
I think in today's world, it's kind of impossible to have it all sometimes. And that's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to have it all.
Yeah.
Just at different times.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about, I want to hear your thoughts on sunscreen. I'm going to get so much flack for this.
No, I think that this is a really great topic because there's so much, like, not necessarily misinformation, but so many clashing maybe thoughts. And
my good friend, Jackie Hakim, she's a dermatologist, double board certified, like the whole shebang. She's like, you need to wear sunscreen.
yeah.
And I'm like not into it.
Well, see, but that's okay. I want to know why you're not into it, but I see where a dermatologist would say, wear the sunscreen because, of course, that is what's going to protect you from skin cancer and wrinkles. But I think the other side of the coin where people are saying, don't wear the sunscreen, it's because the chemicals in the sunscreen are probably very toxic, are seeping into your skin, are endocrine disruptors.
There's that. There's the component of putting something on your body that's like not natural. I mean, look, I've got a lot of stuff on my face that's not natural. So like, who am I to judge here?
No, but you're allowed to pick your spots.
But this is one of the spots that I'm not like 100% anti sunscreen. I will say that. And my sister had melanoma at a very young age. So like I've been very sunscreen religious through the years, but as of late, my opinion is shifting. You know, I don't feel like you need to lather your body in it. I feel like a little bit of sun exposure regularly is completely fine, especially if you're not going and getting sunburned. And I think there is something to needing natural sunlight for your circadian rhythms
and get the vitamin D.
For the vitamin D, just for your overall like wellness. So
what don't you like about it though? Do you not like the feel of wearing it? Do you not like?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Oh, it is. I feel you on that. I hate it.
I definitely don't put it on my body. I mean,
do you put it on your face?
I mean, I do because it's like in some of the stuff that I use, like some of my products, but I don't do an extra sunscreen step like I have in the past. Just because I feel like, you know what?
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot.
The stuff that's in your makeup, you know, when it says like SPF 20, I always feel like that's kind of enough. You can just
and see a dermatologist will be like, no.
I know, but
absolutely not.
Okay. So then like, so for you don't like sunscreen, you don't like to wear it. What do you do on a day? Like for me, like I play tennis, so like I have to wear it because I'm in the sun for like 2 hours. So are you just not in the sun very often? Or
I'm
like,
not in the sun very often.
And if you were to be like maybe like
if I am, I'm like soaking it up. Like I want to, I want to feel the sun.
Okay.
You know, like you'll see people like online who like purposely go out and try to look towards the sun to get that radiation into them.
Right.
That sounds crazy, but whatever.
No, I understand.
Here we are. But I would say, you know, and I'm actually going to start playing tennis.
Oh, I hope you will.
Because we have courts at our new community.
Oh, wonderful.
And there are lessons and classes.
Okay,
like,
I would suggest you take lessons immediately, like the second you can.
As soon as I get there.
You don't want to get any bad habits. You want to start like fresh, clean slate with someone teaching you the right way to go. And I think you're going to love it and you'll be great. And I can't wait to play with you.
Yeah. So to be honest, like if I'm going to play, which it's going to be probably in the evenings, I'm not going to wear sunscreen.
Okay. Well, then
like
perfect
that's
situation.
not necessary.
Okay.
For me in my life, I don't feel like I need it. But if I'm going to play like, 2 hours in the middle of the day in bright sun, then I will put sunscreen on.
Okay. So
that's where I draw the line.
Yeah. So your thoughts is like you're not
in moderation.
Moderation when needed, but not every day.
Don't be like afraid of the sun.
Yeah.
Is my stance.
Like people who wear driving gloves, hats, sunglasses.
Yeah.
The whole works everywhere they go. Like,
yeah. I mean, I get it for a wrinkle standpoint, like prevention situation, but you know, a little bit of sunlight is normal.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that way too. It's just you got to pick your battles and you just got to
and obviously weigh your risks too.
Obviously. But I also hate, and I know that you feel this way probably too, that there's so many sunscreens that are comedogenic where they clog your pores like none other.
Yeah.
And if you don't wash it off like immediately, you're just going to be a pimple city all day.
Yeah.
And I hate that more than anything. And that happens to me so much because I wear it so much in tennis. So
have you used that Hydro Tint for your face?
Tinted sunscreens and I have an interesting relationship because I swear every time I wear it, it is all over my white t-shirt.
Oh, well, that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. It just gets everywhere. And I love how it looks, but it literally, like, it's impossible for me to not like have tan all over my fingers and my clothes. And so I don't really wear it anymore, but I love the look of it, but I just won't wear it.
Yeah. I do like that product. I would say the Elastin Hydrotin. I like that for my face and chest, and I'll wear that. Product. Like if I know I'm going to have some significant exposure, but for the body, I don't even know. Like I'm going to have to look up which kind I like.
Your whole life, have you been smart
I stayed
with
in the sun. Yeah,
Okay.
no, because as soon as I started getting freckles, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be a freckle.
Gotcha.
You know, so I hid from the sun when I was young.
Okay, that's smart.
So
that's
that
good.
helped. But then the reverse, I went to the tanning bed.
Oh, we all did. Do you wear the little Playboy bunny sticker and everything?
The stickers, you know, I had the goggles, I had like all the things. I had the tanning oil that smelled, you know, that was full of chemicals that I sprayed all over my body. But they were, I mean, like, I would totally take a trip to the tanning bed right now.
I used to wear the goggles, of course, but I would also wear sunscreen when I went in the tanning bed. Is that crazy?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, it is. Because that's counterproductive.
I know. High school, what a time.
I know. Well, it was college for me. It was end of high school, early college.
You know what sucks too is so much of our sun damage accumulation will show up later in life.
I know. But that's why you can like do lasers and peels and things like that to help reverse a little bit of it.
So I know you're not a dermatologist, but there's a question I've always had about that, and I never really could get a clear answer.
Oh, she answered it on my podcast.
She did? Okay,
yes.
so will I hear that later?
You will hear it on our podcast, on my dermatology podcast.
Okay, well, the question was, you can tune in later, but when you get a laser for skin damage, does it just aesthetically take away the damage that you can see, or does it actually take away the damage within that could potentially cause skin cancer?
Yeah,
That's
she answers this question.
Okay, cool.
So tune
for another
in
day,
if you want to learn more. Exactly. Okay, and now the next thing that I want to talk about, because I forget what I was watching, but I don't know. It was on, social media or something. It was a girl and she was FaceTiming her friend, and her friend looked really pretty. And she goes, your makeup looks so good. Where do you think you're going?
Like, where do you think you're going?
Exactly in that tone. And
get new friends.
To me, I was like, why would you talk to your friend that way? But I feel like this is so common, and people just need to stop doing that. If someone looks good, you can comment on it. You can, be happy for them and compliment them. But I think that like shaming is just so unnecessary.
Yeah, pretty shaming is just, I guess, insecurity. Like, what else could it be?
Right.
Like, I'm sure the friend who was FaceTiming her friend going out looking cute, I bet she was looking like a frumpadump, Rumpelstiltskin at home by herself on her couch. So, but it's sad. I mean, I think any troll, anybody who, says something like that is just, they're sad, they're unhappy, and they're looking for a person, I guess, to dump that on. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't like it. And I just think it needs to stop. It's like cancel culture. We need to cancel pretty shaming. Yeah.
Do you have people saying, I know that we had the eye or the eye
Oh my God. I had another one lately.
Oh my God, what'd they say?
Oh, so my friend posted this video and I commented on it. And I commented, like, his video was totally inappropriate. And then I commented, like, kind of agreeing with it, like, as a joke. It was a clear joke. And then this other person who I don't know, who either it was a completely rogue account, like they made it and then deleted it, or they made it and then blocked me so that I couldn't look them up, commented, quote, all that money and you still have raccoon eyes or something like that. Like, granted, the day that I commented that on my story, I did a very deep smoky eye so I can see why like they had that perception that I have raccoon eyes, but I don't have that every day. I don't wear smoky eye every single day. And it was like, also, who are you to judge my finances? Yeah. Like, you don't know how much money I have or don't have.
But what does money
Did you call Bank of America?
You do your makeup? Yeah, what does that do with anything? You see, you know what it is? They're jealous and they're envious.
Yeah, and their
a broke
handle,
ass bitch.
Their handle was pelvic prolapse or something like that. And I'm like, that is terrible. Like,
pelvic what does that even mean?
It means your vagina's falling out. Like, or to some degree. Some
So
type
that
of
was
organ.
someone who made like a troll account because that's weird. Or is that not fellow, but maybe a dueling
Well, it could have been
plastic
another
surgeon trying to put you down.
I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't matter. I moved on very quickly.
God, people are so mean to you. I guess, you have such a big platform that like you're kind of like bound to get that. I mean, you do.
Yeah, but it's annoying. But again, pretty shaming. Like, why? Why do you care? Why do you care what my makeup is?
I don't
know. It has nothing to do with you.
I don't know if people maybe they don't think I'm that pretty because I don't get pretty shamed a lot. So.
Well, you don't get pretty shamed a lot, but you are very pretty.
But yeah, it's so sad. Like in this day and age, like just be nice. Like, my God, like be nice.
We have enough to deal with.
Yeah, lift other women up. Just like keep your comments to yourself. Like I don't think I've ever in my life typed out like a mean comment to anybody.
Right.
Even if I hate them, I would just never do that. I don't know how that would cross the mind of any individual. So, but they're just sad.
That's like the society that we live in.
Your feelings.
No, it didn't. I was just like, who is this? And why are they saying that? Like rude.
I like your raccoon eyes.
I love my smoky eyes.
Yeah, you
smoky eyes till I die.
Damn good smoky eye.
Yeah. And I should do a tutorial.
That girl uses Claire's makeup still. So. And she's upset about it because she can't go to Ulta Beauty and get around.
I know. Anyone who listens is going to get that reference.
Haters going to hate.
Love it. Ulta Beauty.
You.
We have enough anxiety in our lives, like the anxiety of getting chrome nails. You don't understand this because you don't do
I don't.
You do your nails.
So
I was thinking you didn't do that.
No, I love dip. So that's what I do. I've never done chrome. But I want to hear about the anxiety of chrome nails.
It causes a lot of anxiety.
Why?
Because the process is very delicate and intricate. So you'll be doing your nails and then all of a sudden they'll jerk your hand out of the little light dispenser thing, the UV thing. Because apparently, I've learned this through multiple trials, that the chrome or the gel that's going to set the chrome can only be cured for like 36 seconds. Like it's like 36.
That's pretty exact.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I always like get a little nervous because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to mess it up. I don't want them to get mad at me. I don't want them to slap my hand.
Can you get chrome with dip or is it just gel?
Yeah, you do. So you can get your dip like normal.
Cute.
And then they're going to put a layer of gel and then they're going to wipe on the chrome, which also is anxiety inducing because you're like, there's gel there. You can't touch it yet. It's not ready.
Do you have chrome currently on your nails right now?
Yeah, I have chrome on my nails. And I love it.
Show them for the camera.
It's not overwhelming. Like if you look up chrome.
Yeah, I think of like the shiny, like
it's
chrome.
Not that shiny.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It's not that shiny. It's good. It's really pretty. It's
all the
nice.
rage.
It's a nice touch. So, you've got the anxiety of them putting this physical powder on your nail
for 36 seconds.
By the way, these are like total
no
like
more,
first
no
world
less.
problems.
Yeah. I know. Oh my God.
People are going to listen to this like, really, this is what she cares
all
about.
the money in the world, and you're going to care about chrome on your nails.
I know.
I think they look great.
Yeah. So, you have to worry about them rubbing your nails and then it curing appropriately. So we have really big problems.
You know what? But not chrome anxiety, at least for me, but I have nail color anxiety. When it's time to pick the color, I'm a mess.
Worst.
Because
you're
stuck
ever.
with it for like 3 weeks. And I hate when my nails don't match my outfit. I know it's a little weird. So I don't really get that at creative, but.
No, so I did red recently for an
event. Did you like it or did you?
So I did red tips, which is a big mistake.
Okay.
Like, first of all, I went to the wrong salon. Like, I was in a rush. It was lunch. Like, I had a lunch hour, which I rarely have. And I was like, okay, I need to do this because I'm not going to have time after work. I've got the kids,
Girl
we're moving. Girl math. And so I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show them a picture. It's going to happen. They're going to look beautiful. And they looked horrible. They didn't look that horrible, but they didn't look great. And so I was stuck with them for like 3 weeks. And the red tips, like they looked good in the, like that night, the event that I wore the red dress.
Because you wore the red dress. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fabulous. Looked great.
So fab.
Awesome. But then like every other day, not so much. Like when I wear black, which is every day, it didn't clash horribly.
It looks a little vampy, but yeah.
Yeah.
But with Halloween coming up, maybe you can get away with
tips.
it. Yes, blood tips. And also red is the color of fall, I hear. So in terms of like the new pop of color in fashion.
And I didn't hate when I did a full red nail because it was better, but don't do red tips.
Hear that, guys? Don't do red tips.
If you take
Looks like your fingers are bleeding.
If you take anything away from this podcast, it's
nothing else.
Get Kybella, get submental liposuction,
And don't make fun of people for their raccoon eyes on Instagram.
If you have a baby, you're not going to need a labiaplasty, guaranteed.
You know, all the important things that we need to know.
And don't do red tips. Okay, we got to end it.
Okay.
It's been
this
an hour.
always goes by so quick.
I know, but we are moving and grooving, and we're gonna have more of these episodes.
Absolutely.
You're literally
I know you love me so much.
my honorary co-host, Daria.
Thank you.
We should do like a little album cover. I call it an album cover.
Oh, that'd be cute.
With you in it too. That'd be really cute. We should
do
do
it.
it and do like a little party or something.
I'll have raccoon eyes and red tips.
Yeah.
And I'll wear some scrubs.
Okay, so for the listeners, thank you if you made it this far through our nail conversation. Most of our listeners are women, so it's totally fine.
Yeah,
they're going to be into
and
this.
Dan, my fiancé
And Dan.
Yes. He loves this.
He'll like the food conversation that we had, but definitely DM us and send us questions. Like send us topics that you want to hear about. Leave us a review. We only accept 5-star reviews. Like it doesn't allow you to leave less than that. No. But at Daria Gaugles, Goggles, and then obviously at Slimming Surgeon. Please follow, if you're not already, the podcast. Leave us a review, and we will catch you next time.
Ciao. See you on the flip side, baby.